Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Weather with Sim forecast. And in today's forecast, we're going to be talking about another large storm that's going to be coming to the United States as we get into the middle of this week. And this is going to bring a lot of impacts, as not only am I expecting the potential for severe weather once again, which keep in mind that the severe weather during the middle of this week will not be nearly as bad as what we saw during the last few days, especially because seeing this have a severe weather threat would be very rare once again. But this storm does look to bring the potential for some severe weather, mainly across the deep south, all the way up there into the lower Ohio Valley. And then we will be tracking the potential for even a major winter storm on the northern side of that system, which will bring another roar back to winter for the northern United States, which will impact parts of the Dakotas into Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. All those areas will likely be impacted from the storm system, which will be one to really keep an eye on over the next few days, as I do expect this storm to be another big one, but once again, not going to be nearly as bad as what we saw during the past few days. But let's first start off by showing you guys how active it was yesterday, and we had over 98 wind reports, guys. 98 wind reports, 25 hail reports. Two of them got up to 2 inches in diameter, and we also had about 156 storm reports total. So this is definitely pretty concerning on what we saw yesterday, and we did see a little bit more tornadoes than what we saw on Friday, but I was anticipating this to even be more active, guys. I was anticipating over 50 storm reports to unfold down here in the deep south, especially with tornadoes. So that would still be pretty rare, but like I said, because we had that rare high risk for severe weather, I thought it was going to be like the most active it's ever been. But we'll still keep an eye on it though as we head throughout today, as I am still expecting severe weather to even unfold along the coastal areas, and we will go over that in just a second. But those coastal areas will need to be on high alert today too, as well, as I am also expecting the potential for severe weather, which we're going to go over that net right now. If we look at the threat for severe weather for today, we do have a pretty big slight risk for severe weather heading from Erie, Pennsylvania, all the way back down through Pittsburgh into a little bit there of Washington, Roanoke, Greensboro, Raleigh, Charlotte, Wilmington, Charleston, all the way back down there into Orlando, Florida, will all be at risk for severe weather for today. Main concerns for today will be the potential for a few tornadoes anywhere from northern Pennsylvania all the way back down there into the Big Bend of Florida. So this will be something to keep an eye on once again, even though we won't have as big of a severe weather threat as we did during the last few days. So I still want you guys to be on high alert, even though this won't be as bad as what we saw during the past few days, but we could still be seeing some large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes today. So I need you all along the East Coast to be on high alert. And if we look at tomorrow, the severe weather threat is thankfully over, but that will change as we get into the middle of this week. If we look at the storm system that's going to be moving our way by the time we get into the middle of the week, you guys can see that by the time we get into Wednesday, March 19th this week, we will be tracking a major winter storm on the northern side of the system, which will impact, like I said, Minnesota, even parts of the Dakotas, into Wisconsin, maybe even Iowa. Seem very heavy snowfall with the system too as well, and that will continue into the UP of Michigan, and then we will even have some backside snow ongoing with the system, possibly impacting parts of the northern Ohio Valley. So that is pretty interesting how we could be seeing some pretty nasty winter weather once again compared to what we have been doing with because we've been seeing these huge warm-ups roll on through the United States, keeping everyone in this corridor are very warm, but nowadays it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of that cold air roll on through, which is one of the reasons why we are going to need to watch this winter storm very closely, and it might even bring the potential for even some freezing rain mixing on into as well, which will be something to keep an eye on. And then on the southern side of the system, we will be tracking the potential for severe weather, especially across the lower Ohio Valley and as well as the deep south. You guys can see that the Cape values won't be nearly as bad as what we've been dealing with over the past few days. We're going to be seeing Cape values probably anywhere from about 200 joules per kilogram upwards towards about 800 joules per kilogram. So we will still be under 1,000 joules per kilogram, but we will still have enough capes to support some severe weather, especially because the moisture is actually going to be pretty high. We could be seeing 60-degree dew points as far north as the lower Ohio Valley, and then those 50-degree dew points do look to head as far north as the northern Ohio Valley. So depending on where you are, moisture may not be nearly as good as what we're going to be seeing down here in the lower Ohio Valley, point towards south, but still something to really keep an eye on, as although Ohio Valley may be at risk for severe weather with this system. And then of course for wind shear is going to be a huge play. Look at this, another nasty looking jet stream, guys, that could potentially bring an elevated threat for tornadoes with this system, which is pretty crazy to look at. And what's even more crazy is that this jet stream even continues to stay the same way along the east coast before it connects with another big jet stream, and this is what's going to trigger that winter storm, as cold air is going to be able to usher in on the backside of that jet stream, bringing that winter storm potential. So this will be something to really keep an eye on closely, as we're going to have a really strong jet stream around, guys. I don't think this is going to be any stronger than what we've been doing with over the past few days, but still, when seeing all that brown and white, that is still a crazy looking jet stream right there, which will more than likely bring at least some severe weather. And from what I'm seeing already, because we are only heading 3 days out, I would already anticipate a slight risk for severe weather to be issued. So this will definitely be something to keep an eye on very closely. And then if we compare that to the GFS model, just to get a good idea, GFS model shows a really big jet stream, if why not even stronger, heading across the Ohio Valley. For how much energy we're going to see, it does also show some pretty good amounts of energy too as well. Maybe a little bit weaker, but still got some areas as high as 500 joules per kilogram, heading as far north as Wisconsin. And then of course for moisture also looks to be about the same, as we could be seeing 50 and 60 degree dew points as far north as the lower Ohio Valley, and then some very low moisture even up there towards the southern Great Lakes region. So another big storm to really keep an eye on closely, as both the European model and the GFS model are currently agreeing on another big day for severe weather. So make sure to really be paying attention as we get into Wednesday of this week, as I do think the storm could bring some pretty big severe weather. But keep in mind though that once again, whatever severe weather we do see will obviously not be nearly as bad as what we've been doing with during the middle, or not the middle, I meant to say during the last few days, but it definitely is still something to keep an eye on closely as we get into the next few days. If we look at our total snowfall with this big storm, you guys can see that snowfall totals could very well be over a foot of snowfall anywhere from northwest Iowa all the way back up there into the UP and Michigan. And same as we look at the European model, maybe not nearly as bad, but still shows widespread amounts of over a half a foot of snowfall, which would be 6 inches of snow or more, and that even includes areas up here in southern Ontario. So definitely something to really keep an eye on closely, as winter may not be completely over yet, and then we might even see a little bit of backside snowfall impacting northern Illinois and northern parts there of Indiana, which nowadays that would actually be pretty unusual now that we're getting closer to spring, but it is still something to really keep an eye on closely as we do get into the next few days. So make sure to be on high alert out there. And then the last thing I want to look at is our total rainfall. Total rainfall may be pretty good as well, as we are going to be tracking some very high rainfall totals. Not looking at anything significant, but definitely still pretty plentiful, especially as you get over there towards the East Coast. So still something to really keep an eye on closely as we get into the next few days, as we're going to have these storm systems rolling on through. And I think some of this rain is probably even from today's storms as well. So make sure to be paying attention, as I do expect excuse me, sorry, as I do expect these storms to get pretty big, so make sure to be paying attention, as this is definitely going to be another big one out there. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications, as we will keep you guys up to date with the latest on this next storm that will indeed roll on through as we get into the middle of this week. But also make sure to like today's video and share it with friends, family, or anyone who you know on social media. Not only does that help support the channel a lot, but I really do appreciate it, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your weekend out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.